Well, as you can see, it has been quite a while since I've filmed that last segment. Had to wait for parts to roll in, and also got busy with doing non-electrical projects. So it took me away from this for a while, but I've been working on this for the past couple of days, and so far what I've got done is majority of it has been recapped. It might not have been the prettiest job, but for me, it's not bad. I say that because this is the most I've ever been involved working on a tube-type radio or piece of test gear or something like that. I've done very minor stuff on them, but nothing to the extent of this. So I'm very pleased, very happy with this. I got capacitors put in, new replacements, with protective sheathing on the leads there. One thing I did not know how to do, and I tried to research that the best I can, and I know I've seen videos of such, but with these capacitors, there's a foil side, and there's a trick at finding that foil side. I unfortunately could not learn that trick or find out how to do that trick. Therefore, my capacitors are just stabbed in willy-nilly. If it becomes a issue, then I'll get in here and flip them about or figure out how to do that trick to learn how to do it properly. But until then, we're just going to have to live with it. However, you being the fine steward that you are, if you'd like to help a friend out, help a bloke out, a mate out, then by all means, if you see something I've done wrong, please be kind and correct me on that. That would be most appreciative, and it'll allow me to learn something. Now I want to point your attention to this section right up in here. This is the mod that I've done so far. Now I've added three pieces of, I've added this terminal strip right here. Hopefully the camera could see it. Get my tweezers out of the way. And then I've added this capacitor, and then I've added this resistor. This is the Mr. Carlson modification. If you've seen his video or other videos like this, then you'll know that the modification is simply done right here at the 12SH7 pin number 4. Off of pin number 4 we put a resistor to go straight to ground. Mr. Carlson referenced a 5.6 meg. I think he said anywhere between a 1 and a 10 would work ducky. And then a capacitor of 0.01 microfarads. Now this is the tricky part. He never did declare the voltage value. I've watched a lot of videos and I searched the internet trying to find out that voltage value. Some of you, it might be common knowledge or whatever. I had to research it. Really couldn't find the information. I did go with a 100 volt, and then I started thinking about that and did some more research, and then I found somebody's video who was kind enough to hold up the capacitor they were using, and they're putting in a 630 volt capacitor. So I pulled out the 100 volt capacitor. Now, unfortunately, in that value, I did not have a 630, or in this style of capacitor, this foil. Did not have it. So in my junk bin, if you guys remember, I bought a junk bin, parts bin from Sparks, Nevada, Hammond Hi-Fi several months ago, and in it I found this disc capacitor. This is 0.01 at 1000 volts. I'm hoping it'll work. I'm hoping that it'll at least get me by. If nothing else, I have since ordered 30 new caps. So one will be coming in shortly. If this one does not work adequately, or it blows, or whatever, I do have replacements rolling in. As far as the resistor is concerned, this is definitely a resistor that's more than adequate. It's the only one I had in stock of that value. So that's 5 megs at 5, I don't know, whatever watt that is, 2 watts, 3 watts. Definitely overkill, but it's going to work. Some of the parts that I had to wait for to come in were the capacitors. I'd also, now you can get the manual free online. That's not a problem. That's what this printout is of. But I thought, you know, as much as I like to have the original, I went ahead and bought the original. And boy, was I excited. Got it, opened it up, and I thought, that don't look like mine. Because it's not. So I went and checked, see if the seller shipped me the wrong one, but no, the mistake was clearly on me. I purchased the wrong one. So if I ever buy another, if I buy the T-3, then I'm covered. So I went ahead, and this time I bought the correct manual. So I got that on hand, and very, very jazzed about that as well. And the other things that I had to wait on was new tube replacements. As you see, they're still in the box. I haven't even cracked them open to test them. When we get that far in this build, we'll do just that, crack them open and test them. And speaking of testing them, in the duration of this downtime, I asked the wife to take my manual and run it through her scanner, because her scanner is a flatbed scanner, and it could do multiple pages, and mine is just a single sheet. Asked her if she'd run it through and make me a PDF copy of my manual so I could have a backup copy in case this ever got destroyed. And as you see, she was kind enough to put it in a binder and then put it in these plastic protective sleeve things, and I thought that was really, really awesome. So my book will last a little bit longer than planned, or whatever. Speaking of the wife, didn't know this until she presented me with that book. She told me that she watches my videos, so I was kind of thrilled and honored, and even though she says majority of it's over her head, she supports me just the same, and that is super duper cool. Let's see, so moving on, so thank you, wifey, do appreciate that. Moving on to the next thing. So far, here are the parts that I've replaced. Well, I pulled out anyway. I pulled this out. I still need to replace that. Pulled out all these capacitors and a couple of resistors. And we can see right here, let me get my pointy thing. I pulled out this resistor. I pulled out this resistor. And I pulled out that resistor. And this resistor here is a 390k ohm resistor, and when I pulled it out and rechecked it, it was 600 and something K. In fact, it was the wrong resistor to begin with, and I believe it was that one right there that I pulled out. So, pulled it in. Oh, one other thing about resistors. I was waiting for resistors to roll in as well because I thought I didn't have half-watt resistors. Well, I'm retarded because I do have. half watt, and but now I've got more half watt assortments, so I got a massive abundance of resistors. So I'm good to go for quite some time. Now another mod that I'm planning on doing, I'm actually going to do 2 mods to this. One, I'm going to put in a cross the line safety cap, which will go down here on this strip. And another thing that I'm planning on doing is I'm putting in a inline fuse. Now this inline fuse project also kind of stumped me because, well, I wasn't sure how I was going to do that. As you see there, I've got an abundant amount of fuse holders. These I already had in stock. Had the short one and then the big one, but the way how the case pulls off, since it goes through this little hole, I decided that's not a good thing. So I went online and I ordered these types because I wasn't sure how it was going to play out, what exactly would be best. And these are kind of cool because they've got the plastic lids on them. After sitting here figuring out what to do, I was going to put it here, and then it dawned on me I've got a transformer right there. So I could have put some fish paper down, hot snotted it down, and then took one of these and hot snotted that down as well. Sounded like a lot of work and probably not too proficient. So I figured I decided I'm going to go ahead and do this style. Now these are really cool caps because they're not a twist lock, they're a actual screw design, and that holds a standard 6x30, 6x30 fuse. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll pull this red wire off and solder this in its place. And then it came down to, gosh, what kind of fuse? Slow blow, fast blow, no blow, crack cocaine blow. So after doing a lot of reading best I could on fuseology, basically they said start with like a half amp and see what happens. There was a issue of inrush, and one guy had issue with standard fuses blowing, and so he went with slow blows, and with the slow blows it allowed the inrush to happen but yet protect his circuit. So this is all going to be a mystery for me. We're going to see what happens. I'll start with a half amp and go from there. Got my finger stuck on a piece of wire there. And let's see here. I have mounted my two BNCs, and I've put a couple of drops in two different sessions of contact cleaner. And first I did some lubrication to break that up, and then I put some contact cleaner, and as you see, those things are working out just ducky. Getting back to the next thing I need to do, or getting to the next thing I need to do, I need to pull this capacitor out of line, so I got its replacement there, at which time I will put a new power cord on, and I'll put that safety cap in. Speaking of power cords, I'm definitely wanting to put a polarized cord in line, and going through my junk, I came across this really nice thick power cable, and I thought this was really cool because this one offers a inline fuse. However, I decided not to use this one because of that tiny inline fuse. In my fuse collection, I don't have that size, although yes, I could buy that size. But I'm also trying to think of the poor bloke down the road who will have this after me, trying to make it easy on them. Thus, I went with those fuse holders. And going through my junk, I found another really nice thick new old stock cord, and this one is polarized. So this one is a little thicker than what I'm pulling off of here. As you can see, all the mini breaks in this one. And one other thing I want to state before we end this segment, I know it didn't dawn on me until afterwards that I did not demo this thing before tearing down. That I apologize for. But hopefully it'll work out and be good just the same. If you really need to hear the static noise that's caused by the buildup on this tube, I recommend go watching Mr. Carlson's video, as it will have the noises. Anyway, I think with that, one other thing I need to do is I need to replace that capacitor. Now that's 4 capacitors in one. So I need to rebuild that. And I thought of cutting this open and restuffing it, but due to the fact that I bought this style, axial style capacitors, and not feed through, yeah, I know I could put tubing on it and be okay, but I'm not going to restuff it. I'm not doing this to be a shelf queen or to be historically accurate. I'm doing this for functionality. So I think what I'm going to do is, on the other side, I'm going to take some of these boards here and build my network up on that. And then on the other side, I'll put some standoffs and raise this board up off of chassis ground, and then feed my network through that way. That is the plan anyway. I get the idea, the inspiration of doing it like that from somebody I found on the internet who has rebuilt one, and that's exactly what he did with his. Put it on a riser. So it looks good. Okay, well that will, I think, conclude this segment of this. I just wanted to bring you in and touch bases of where I'm at and what I'm doing with it. And I will carry on, and we will pick you up when I'm done with all the new additions. I'll get this replaced, get all this put in, get that put in, get the fuse put in. We'll flip it around. We'll test the tubes. We'll put the tubes in, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it.